So it looks like Japan is tired of foreigners. I don't know what kind of foreigners. I'm sure Americans. I mean, we've been making headlines in Japan and as well as the US by just being nuisances. Nuisance? Just a general pain in the ass to people in other countries. I can see this being a thing that finally is the boiling point, and other countries are finally getting tired of us. Now, it's not all of us. I myself have a lot of manners, so I'm not going to pretend like I'm the problem. But, let's hear out what we have here today. We have a video from a Japanese YouTuber. He doesn't even make this kind of style of videos. He's making news videos. His name is Mr. E. And he made a channel or video called "We're Sick of You Foreigners." Anyway, sorry for my rambling. If you like these conversations, my channel is a conversation. I love to see what you have to say. So to stay up to date on everything, subscribe. Anyway, let's get into it.
Japan is not your playground. We're sick of this. Hey everybody, Mr. E here. We need to talk again. Right off the bat, let me say this loud and clear. Don't come to Japan if you're gonna act like a reckless moron with the main character syndrome.
And I know we're only 12 seconds in, and you're probably saying, well, this is probably not like as common. Well, you'd be surprised. I think with TikTok and social media just being on every phone now, um, when everyone's just trying to make it, like, I mean, everybody, like every single person on the planet, I can see Japan being one of those places that has to deal with the brunt of main character syndrome people from other countries. And I'm sure it's not just the US.
Over the past few years, we've seen some pretty outrageous behavior.
Ooh, hold on. Let's rewind that.
Main character
What?
syndrome. Over the past few years, we've seen some pretty outrageous behavior from tourists and foreigners who come to Japan, and it's gotta stop. From people
That's just disrespectful. What? Like, that's just straight up. Jesus Christ. That's sick. And then obviously we got Logan Paul with recording dead people, but I already know this one for sure.
People like Logan Paul treating sacred places like his personal movie set, to Johnny Somali harassing locals for clout, to an 18 years old American tourist.
Sorry, I had to get another Mountain Dew. Not sponsored, but shout outs to Mountain Dew. The Jesus Christ, Johnny Somali right now is hopefully going to jail. Please, for the love of God, I never, ever, 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 ever think it's okay to wish harm on anybody, but it's okay if he goes to jail because he is truly a pain in the ass, and I think we as a society in any country should never ever reward his kind of behavior because it's truly it's getting out of hand.
Literally setting fires across Tokyo just a few days ago. It's enough. And it's not just them. We've had groups of people dancing in shrines and on the trains, influencers pulling ridiculous stunts on sacred.
The dancing stuff, like that's just gonna be honest, like that's everywhere. That's even in the US. But like this kind of thing where you're just doing pull-ups on like why?
Tory gates, both of which made national news, by the way, along with a whole bunch of other nonsense. These are things that have left the people of Japan frustrated, hurt, and frankly, fed up. I'm gonna go into these incidents in more details throughout this video, but the main point is very clear. We are tired of people treating Japan like their personal stage for social media clout. Now, before I dive in, let me make something very clear.
And I don't know if this has anything to do with it. So I don't know if he's going to talk about this in this video, but I was talking to somebody who is also a content creator and very popular content creator. Maybe we'll have him on as like a podcast episode. That would be really cool. But I was asking him like why. Yeah, but I know my channel of 4K subscribers knows bigger content creators. Who would have thought, right? Um, I was asking him like, why do people go to Japan? Because I hadn't seen this video, but I was just asking him like, why is all these people going to Japan? And what he told me was, the currency of Japan has taken a dip, so that means the American dollar is worth more over there. So now you have people who typically wouldn't have been able to afford Japan that can now afford Japan. And so you're getting this bottom bracket of people who tend to be kind of annoying. And I at least that's what I was told. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not an economist. I definitely don't know how to tell if it is true. But let me know in the comments down below if you do, and if you're from Japan, and let me know if that's the case.
We are not asking you to be perfect. When you visit Japan, nobody's perfect. Not you, not me, not even Japanese people. We all make mistakes. We get it. It's hard to know every single rule or custom in a new country, and that's fine. This isn't about perfection, it's about respect. What we are asking for here is basic respect for the culture
Hmm.
and rules. Japan has its own way of doing things, just like anywhere else in the world. When you're here, it's about following those customs. You don't need to know everything, but at least try. Is it too much to ask for a little consideration?
Which is crazy because Japan is probably one of the most hospitable countries, where they're very well, traditionally they were very open to foreigners. I'm sure after this now probably not. Out for tourists, if they were obviously respectful, right? Because at least from my understanding, again, I could be wrong. I don't know Japan history. I don't even watch anime. I did in the past, but um, the thing is, it's like it's about, from my understanding, it's like everyone's very polite and considerate to the other people. That's why everyone's like, don't really make eye contact when you're walking around. Like you're also you're not making a bunch of noise on the trains and public transportation. You're not really stopping, bothering people. You're kind of you're going into businesses. You know, you're not loitering. Like you're actually doing stuff. So, um, whereas like a lot of other cultures, um like Mexican culture, for example, we're much more like we'll just sit or stand somewhere and just loiter, but it's not really considered loitering. It's just hanging out, right? So like it's kind of hard to describe, but it's there's different things that I would not do myself in another country. Like I would just know not to do that because it's a different place.
I don't think so. Now I know some of you might be thinking like, oh, Japanese people being xenophobic, racist for criticizing foreigners just
Just having a little fun. No, that's I swear to God, I've seen that on Twitter, and a lot of people have actually been trying to make this a race thing because of the people. There's this, unfortunately, the people that became like the token nuisance recently happen to be a specific race. Um, and that's why like people keep saying, "Oh, Japan is just being racist." It's like, no, not really. The people that they're, if you don't know, they're black. There's some black Americans who came to Japan and were just farming clips that would make people uncomfortable. So, like for example, they would do dances on trains with the sole purpose of making people uncomfortable, so that they can get it on camera, and that was the content, making people uncomfortable. It would be different if they were just like dancing on the side somewhere, or even just like not trying to make people uncomfortable, but they would purposely, with the sole purpose, make people uncomfortable to farm for content. So that content ended up getting super popular on TikTok, to where like they suddenly grew a whole following, and they would just kind of milk that because, you know, at the expense of the Japanese people. That's why a lot of the conversation right now is like, oh, the races, but it's only because the most recent group is that race. But the same underlining meaning stands regardless of race, because we just saw that video like of that lady recording the geisha girl. That was crazy. I've never seen that one. That's like some freaky like dystopian shit. Like it's weird. Like imagine just kind of like trying to mind your own business, some lady trying to cut you off and like record you like you're some fucking like you're like you're in a zoo and you're like an animal. Like that's crazy. To me that was wild. And she was white, and then Logan Paul's white. So I just think like as of late there's just been TikTokers who are just happen to be a specific race farming that content. So it's not a race thing. It's separate that. People can criticize people without making it about anybody's race. And I think people need to understand that.
having a little fun. But let me ask you this. If I came to your country and did the same kind of things, like treating your sacred places like a playground or disturbing workers, wouldn't you criticize me or hate on me for that?
So in most places, yes, but these people that are criticizing Japan have no respect for this country, have no respect for America, have no respect for American values, They themselves don't even hold any standards of any value, any culture. They claim to be, oh, I'm from this place, I'm from this place, but they don't ever practice it. These people that criticizing Japan right now are probably the least cultured people in America. For example, I come from, my family is from Texas. We actually really care about the missions in San Antonio. The missions, if you don't know, when people were settling in Texas, these Catholic or these religious missions were established to help kind of connect people and transfer goods and become places of trade and kind of the central hub to where cities would be developed. In my hometown of San Antonio, we actually take care of the missions. We love the missions because it's the same thing with the Alamo is a mission. Because it holds history. I mean, a lot of people think it's a meme, but at the same time, it's like really, we do remember the Alamo. Like, don't forget the Alamo, because it's like, I don't know, it's just something special about being a part of something bigger than us. And I think a lot of Americans don't have that because they never cared about that. They just grew up on the iPads with TikTok and shit like that. So they're so disconnected. I know I'm talking a lot of shit, but it's true. The people who criticize Japan are not the people that should be speaking.
I think we both know the answer to that. It's not about where you're from, it's about the behavior.
That's crazy. This is actually insane.
When you disrespect a culture,
Nah.
you can't expect people to just let it slide.
So like this part right here, this is what I was talking about. I saw this video. I don't know if you can see my mouse. So you see him. I'm looking at my second monitor to make sure I can see my mouse. Okay. So if you look, he's like looking, and it almost looks like he's looking under his skirt. And then you see this guy in the background. You see what he's doing? He's like with his girl, or like he just seems to be, I don't know. I can't tell if there's a person right here. Either way, you can see him uncomfortable and kind of change his body language direction towards this way. Right? Because he sees what's going on here, and he changes his whole direction, his demeanor. Everyone here is uncomfortable, but also like the fact that it's almost like he's looking under her skirt.
No matter where it happens.
Yeah, he's with his girl. You see that? You see how he's like, he puts his hand right here and he's watching him. So the thing is, it's like, I don't know if he's Japanese. I'm just gonna go off on a limb. He doesn't look Japanese. But the fact that somebody who doesn't look Japanese is communicating the same way, like, hey bro, like what you're doing is not okay. I'm gonna change my entire body language and even my facial expression to communicate that. To me, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's people like it's just, they came with the clear intention of just disturbing the peace.
It's natural to call out that kind of behavior, right? And let's be real, I know for a fact that these Westerners are taking advantage of our kindness, our non-confrontational nature, and that's not fair. Japan has always been known as a welcoming and peaceful country.
Like, this is just like, come
But
on.
that doesn't mean you get a free pass to walk all of our traditions. It's totally unfair, and we're done with it. Let's talk about Logan Paul.
That's it. And again, it's not this guy, just this guy. It's like a group of them. These are the people that were farming explicitly the reactions of other people to make people uncomfortable. Because these are like, there's like someone did a deep dive where their most popular TikToks are them messing with Japanese people. Because they went from anywhere from like 20,000 views to about like millions. I don't know. I don't remember. I think it was like 2 point something million per TikTok they did for that. So it's crazy. They were farming it like crazy.
It's totally unfair, and we're done with it. Let's
talk
about Logan Paul for a second.
But I'm gonna keep it $150. It's never gonna be as bad as this. All right, or let's not. I don't want to jinx it. What that group of people were doing are not as bad as this. Logan Paul recording an actual dead person for content. All right, like I think people need to understand. He saw a dead person, said let's record it with the alien hat on. He says let's record it, let's do it. Not only that, so many choices. So he went to Japan, was a nuisance. Then he goes to the suicide forest. Then finds a dead person. Then records it. Records even more. Then takes the footage, edits it, knowing that it's there, purposely puts it in there, uploads it knowing it's in there, puts all the details in the description, title, thumbnail, knowing it's all in there, and then uploaded and like finally published it knowing it's in there. There's so many steps in which he had to chance to stop what he was doing, but he continued to do it. So that's what's even more fucked up. This guy's like a straight schizo psychopath. Was it psychopath? Or no, narcissist. That's the word.
When he came to Japan a few years back, he showed the world just how out of hand things can get. He filmed himself doing ridiculous, disrespectful things in sacred places like shrines, and even filmed a highly insensitive video in our.
That hat is so iconic now. That hat alone. Just get yourself a blonde wig and that hat, and you already have a costume for Halloween.
Aokigahara Forest, a place known for its association with mental health struggles. That incident not only hurt the people of Japan, but also left a huge stain on how foreigners were viewed in the country. And
Yeah. I'm surprised he still has a career after that. Just goes to show you that influencers, if they're big enough, can get away with whatever the fuck they want. Because the platforms like YouTube and stuff like that will never hold them accountable. Same thing with Twitch, Kick, Rumble. All of them will always bend the knee at some point.
And ever since, we've seen more influencers trying to pull the same kind of stunts to get attention. Recently, Johnny Somali.
I wonder. I never stopped to think. Was it Logan Paul that really started all this? Because I feel like it kind of died down after that. I don't know. So this is why like I love my channel. It's because I'm not gonna pretend like I know everything. I wonder if he was the one that started this trend of just harassing Japanese people for content. Like, and I'm not obviously they might have been people before, but I'm talking about like huge notable people. Someone's gonna have to let me know in the comments down below because I genuinely don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving benefit of the doubt to other people, but maybe there is somebody. But Johnny Somali has just been. Oh, it's just he has a punchable face.
Came here and thought it would be funny to run around harassing locals, throwing out offensive comments about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, all for the sake of going viral on live streams. He acted like Japan was his personal playground, showing zero respect for the culture or the people. And sadly, his actions inspired copycats who think they can come here, disrespect the country, and gain fame from it. One of the worst examples happened just a few days ago. An 18 years old American tourist was arrested for lighting trash cans on fire in 7 different spots in Tokyo.
Well, that escalated very quickly. That sounds like an arsonist. But wow, whoa, yeah, I can see why they finally said we're done. That's crazy. I didn't even know about this one. This is crazy to me. I'm trying to look around because I'm like, am I the only one that's saying like, yeah, maybe we should, if Japanese people just say fuck everybody, we're not letting anyone in anymore.
7. This isn't just some harmless prank. It's dangerous and reckless. You're putting people's safety at risk.
Mm-hmm.
It's criminal behavior, plain and simple. When tourists come here and do stuff like that, it reflects badly on everybody. You're not just making yourself look bad, you're making it harder for all the respectful tourists who come here with good intentions. And don't even get me started on the Chilean influencer
Chilean explains a lot.
who thought it was okay to do pull-ups on the sacred Torii Gate. For those of you who don't know, a Torii Gate is a deeply spiritual symbol in Shintoism, making the boundary between the human world and the divine. It's not some random object you can hang from for a TikTok stunt. It's straight up disrespectful. Sure, she apologized afterward, but the damage was already done. People were hurt. Seeing something so sacred to our culture being disrespected like that will.
Yeah, I think it's just like, narcissism. And the funny thing is, I feel like for a long time, people were like this no matter what, but there was never an incentive to give in to that narcissism, right? And now that the social media is like everywhere, it's like it's the temptation of just being a shitter. It's just too easy. Now that being said, she did apologize, but it don't mean shit. You already did it. To culturally, that's different, right? Like it's like imagine if someone burnt a cross in front of your house and then they apologize. It's like you still did it. Like you disgrace the sacred symbol. Like I'm not gonna look at you the same. You know what I mean? It may not be illegal, but I'm not going to look at you the same.
We'll remember what she did. It's not something that just goes away with a mere apology. Now let's talk about the
Japan needs to just start banning people from the country. Do they do that? Let me know in the comments down below if you're Japanese. If Japan has started doing that, because I think y'all should do it too.
group
I
of
think
African Americans who are dancing around sacred shrines and on public transport. They're the prime example of what we are worried about. Ever since people like Johnny Somali went viral worldwide, it seems like more people are trying to follow in his footsteps. These copycats are showing up, doing the same disrespectful stunts, hoping for their shot at internet fame. And if we don't stop this now, we'll soon have people pulling these stunts everywhere in Japan. Here's the thing, these tourists and the influencers are acting like they're the main characters of their own personal movie or something.
because they are. You know, the thing is, the reality is it's TikTok is not going to ban them. If Japan hasn't banned them, then they're only going to feel more empowered. Like the whole Jolly Somali thing, he needs to go to someone out of these group of influencers has to go to jail for the rest of the world to take it serious, because no one's taking it serious. And like, this is just me being a little, hey, I'm gonna call it a $1.50. I'm just gonna say it as it is, right? Like, there's a point in which, like, you can't complain about it over and over again if y'all never did anything, right? Like, you can ban him for, if y'all ban, I believe Japan banned Jolly Somali for going into the country, but if y'all never threw him in jail, if y'all never did anything to really punish him, fine him or something, like, the thing is, these countries, just to be respectful, aren't punishing these people, and so they're gonna keep doing it. So, like, I understand Japanese people are frustrated, but y'all need to actually just to I'm trying to say this without sounding like an asshole, but if you're really tired of it, y'all need to do something about it. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all can't keep complaining and then be like, guys, we hate you guys. Like, y'all need to stop doing this, but at the same time, like, your country ain't doing shit to stop it. Right? Like, y'all need to be like, hey, maybe we need to ban these people from ever coming to the country to begin with. Right? Like, we look at these influencers who are doing it. So, for example, if I was, say, for example, the Japanese government, and I create a task force. See, okay, there's some shitters who are trolling in Korea. We'll preemptively ban their passports from ever entering this country. Like, there's so many things you can do. I know it sounds fucked up, but at the same time, it's your country. You do what you want. I'm not gonna tell you how to do it, but I'm gonna say, hey, don't be complaining if y'all not gonna do nothing. Because at least here in America, I'll say this: the advantage that America has is typically most people won't give a fuck about anything. But if someone there'll always be the wrong person that like these influencers try stuff with, and they always get knocked, or there's always some checks and balances that eventually come down the road. If it's not from, like, the law, it's from some everyday pedestrians. So I'm just saying, like, I hear them, but y'all need to do something too. I hear the Japanese. I hear what he's saying, and I hear I feel the emotion that he has and that he's speaking on behalf of the Japanese people. But at the same time, y'all guys got to do something too. You can't just sit here and complain. Y'all got to do something. Because if not, these people are just going to continually get rewarded. Because, like, that's what's frustrating to me. They're getting rewarded over and over and over again.
We call it main character syndrome. They think that the world revolves around them and they can do whatever the heck they want to do without any consequences. But this isn't a movie set, and Japan isn't here to be your backdrop. There are real people living here who have to deal with the consequences of these actions. The truth is,
like, honestly too, this is just cringe, and just in my opinion, but then again, that's probably why I'm not famous. I have shame.
are already dealing with enough internal problems. In Japan, especially with some foreigners living here. For example, we've seen instances where some groups, like certain Muslim communities, are pushing their own cultural expectations on Japanese society.
That's kind of crazy. That's sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but that's actually kind of crazy. What? That's no way. That's actually insane. Japanese culture is like one of the oldest not the oldest culture in the world, but one of the oldest cultures. Or the history, Japanese history has one of the oldest histories in the world. But the fact that you even have, hey, I mean, in fairness, I guess the whole world is dealing with that same issue right now. But I just think I just didn't expect this to be an issue in Japan. You would think Japan knows better.
We've had issues with illegal immigrants making trouble and refusing to follow the laws, creating scenes that cause tension between locals and foreigners. And let's not forget about Japan's aging population. It's something we're struggling to manage already. We can't afford to keep dealing with this kind of problems when we are trying to maintain our own balance. And let us not forget that over tourism is a real huge issue. The streets are crowded, public transport is packed, and people are getting frustrated. So when disrespectful tourists act on top of that, it's a breaking point. It's not just about you, it's about everybody trying to enjoy this beautiful country. So please, before you come to Japan, think before you act.
That's actually kind of cool. I mean, that's a good saying anyway to live by. Think
Ask
before you act.
yourself, would I behave like this back home?
They would. They absolutely would. Um, but at the same time, it's because American culture, you're either in it or you're not. So, I do feel for the Japanese people. I feel like they're stuck in this weird place where they don't want to change to like. They're so well known for being accepting of a lot of people, but I feel like sometimes you gotta break a few eggs. That's it. That's it. Someone's got to learn that it's not okay. But if Japan's not gonna teach them, at least in Korea they're gonna teach. They're teaching Johnny Somali. Hopefully, that he's looking at 10 years in prison. Please, for the love of God, go to jail.
Is this how I want people to act in my country? If the answer is no, then don't do it in Japan. Respect the rules, follow the customs, and show that you can.
But that's the thing. They do it regardless. They do it regardless. They don't care. That's what's I think frustrating me about this video. I hear the frustrations, but this video is more of a like, hey, learn, don't do this. But it's like the people you're doing this to do not care. They do not care. You have to teach these people a lesson. They do not care. Make some laws to where you can deport any motherfucker. Like, do things to provide you leeway to make change to stop these people from doing these things. Make it to where it's a fine. I saw that they put up signs on the trains. Like the people that he's talking to. I didn't even mean to sound this frustrated, but like these people do not care. They do not care.
Care about the culture you're experiencing. Japan is an amazing
It
country,
is.
and we
Never been. I hope to go someday.
want you to enjoy it, but not at the expense of disrespecting what makes it special. Japan might be open to you, but we expect you to be respectful. We don't need you to be perfect, just thoughtful. We welcome visitors who want to experience the culture, but if you're there to cause trouble, you're making it difficult for everybody, including yourself. You represent where you come from, so act like it. Thanks for watching. And if you feel the same, please share this message. Let's remind everybody that respect goes a long way when visiting another country. Mystery out. Peace.
To end this video, I don't want to say like he's wrong. I think this is actually a more positive message, right? And I think that's probably why I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated not because of the message he's delivering, because it is positive. I'm frustrated because it's like he's doing the right thing in the way he's framing this video. Like, hey, like here's like he's not like demeaning anybody. He's being very polite, very respectful. He's doing the right thing in this video, but it's like to people who genuinely don't deserve it, right? The people that are gonna do these things do not care. They will not care because they'll do it on any country because it's what gives them content. If the country itself does not punish them, or the people of that country don't punish these people when they're doing this stuff, they will only be rewarded. They will only be rewarded with clout, followers, to feed the narcissism in their main character brain, right? And they'll probably gain some financial incentive. They'll gain some money from it, from all those follows and views and stuff like that. So they only have everything to gain and nothing to lose if no one's going to punish them. But I do agree with this, like the sentiment. I see what he's saying, and the fact that this guy doesn't really make videos like this, to me says like it's getting to a point. Like I didn't even know about the fire thing, the fire trash can thing. That's crazy. That's like straight up like criminal shit. And the fact that I wonder, did that person make videos on that? Because that's to me, you know, this is probably a kick streamer because kick. But it's just that's crazy. Let me know in the comments down below if you're Japanese, if you disagree with anything I said, if you agree with anything I said. I do care about your opinions. I care a lot. Anyway, I'll check you on the next one. Love y'all. Bye bye.